Hello, this is me with a quick Fire Emblem Fates forging guide. So the first thing you want to do is build a Smithy, which costs 1 Dragon Vein point. And you'll go in here, you have 4 options. You can forge, carve name, erase name, and ore swap. Forging is of course the big thing here. With erasing names and carving names, that's pretty much just renaming your forged weapons, and the ore swap I'll get to in a little bit. So as Kaze says, he'll get the forging if you brought the right ore. So getting the right ore depends on which weapon you want to forge. Of course, if you want to forge katana, you'll need a pearl. You want to forge an axe, you'll need a sapphire. So if you just want to pause and look at this a little more, then you can. But there are Norian ores, and then there are Hoshidian ores. And without visiting other castles and such, you can only get one side, or even just one type of ore. But each Norian and Hoshidian castle will have one mining deposit. Mine is an onyx mine, which forges daggers. And another way to get more ore is to bet it in the arena. If you give up 1 piece of ore, you can get 2 back if your units win. And in this case, Niles and Odin both won together. Now, an interesting feature is 1 unit can go in, and then occasionally a second unit will join them, and they'll fight together. But yes, they won 2 sapphire for me. And if you find that you have a lot of ore of one type, you can go to the ore swap and get different types of ore. For example, if you have like 30 sapphire and you have no crystal but you want to forge a sword, you can just swap the 5 sapphire for the 1 crystal and forge yourself a sword. Now, in order to forge a weapon, you need 2 weapons of the same type as well as the ore. Now, Baruka does not have any. All of her weapons, basically, we only have 1 of. Selena, on the other hand, has her iron sword, and we also have 1 in the convoy, so we can forge them. And also, each character has a different quote down here for when you're forging a weapon for them. Selena's is pretty funny. But anyway, whenever you forge a weapon, you don't get to alter which stats are changed like you could in Awakening. It just depends. It really just assigns it to you. So might will go up most of the time. I'm pretty sure it'll always go up. I'm not sure what bonus does, but hit and crit are pretty much self-explanatory. So we can forge that, and then you can name it. I named it the Sword of Meals for no real reason. Naming these weapons is actually pretty fun. Like this fire tome that I named Elise's Mixtape, because she's spitting hot fire. Anyway, you can also double forge weapons. You can take 1 forged weapon and another forged weapon, combine them with 2 pieces of ore, and basically, at the end of the day, if you do this, you will get, since these are thunder tomes that I'm using here, at the end of the day, you're giving up 4 thunder tomes and 4 pieces of topaz for a thunder tome with a might of 9, a hit of 82, and I'm not sure what the bonus does. Again, I'm sorry. Odin in particular, you'll want to forge weapons for because of his unique skill, Aching Blood, which grants him crit plus 10 when using a custom weapon with a name at least 12 characters long. So with this skill in a forged weapon with 12 characters or more, he will have a constant crit rate of between 10 and 20, which is more than anyone in the early game can have without using special weapons. Let's see. Another way, the best way of getting ore is to visit other castles by going to the crystal ball, selecting Visit Castle. And as you can see their path on the right side there. Now, Vala paths, which is the Revelation path, they will have 2 ore deposits, 1 from Nor and 1 from Hoshido. They'll also have 2 nutrient sources. So if you just want to gather a bunch of ore without really caring which ore it is, it's good to just hit up all these Vala paths and reap all the benefits. But if you want a specific ore, you can look on the bottom screen here, and you can click on each of the different ore facilities. Like for example, we want to forge a bow, and we'll get some emerald here. So we can go to their castle and talk to their ore deposit, in this case Soleil, will give us some emerald. Now you can also visit their arena, but after you use it, you will go back to your castle, so you'll want to pick up all the resources you can before leaving. Now funnily enough, their Odin is a butler, so it works differently. So I bet on Sapphire again, and this is something that won't really happen much if your arena isn't upgraded. You can fight again and get even more ore. So if Odin wins the second round, he will end up getting me a net gain of 3 ore. And you can also back out of this if you think you can't win. But again, you'll lose your resources. Oops. You'll lose your resources. Sorry, I'm making this on PowerPoint because I really don't have a capture card or anything. So yeah, you'll lose your resources. But if you win, you'll get even more. So that's a net gain of 3. And also in between rounds, your champion will recover HP. Now because Odin is a butler, this is suicide. If this berserker gets like 1 or 2 good hits, then Odin's dead. And of course you can end up getting 7 ore for your troubles. It's just not worth it if you're going to die and lose all of them. So anyway, that was just a quick forging guide because there's a lot of confusion about this. So I'd appreciate it if you would spread this around. And please forgive me for the horrible quality. It's probably very bad. But anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye.